Hey y'all, welcome to flight school. Welcome to flight school. I'm your pilot, the young elder. Y'all, Faise, we're here to take over the game. This is our story in the making. Stay tuned. We got like a little background interference, a little turbulence. But thank you for flying on 999 Airlines. Let's get it, baby. And the ancestors are looking out for us. God Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the poke chair under it. Scroll down, look at the poke chair under it.
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Flown lekker.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Hey, as always, we got Faise backstage chilling. You know what I'm saying? About to get ready to bring them out. We got to warm up the stage. Hey, y'all, get them in here. Get them likes up. You know what I'm saying? Share, subscribe. You know, let them know we in. You know, church on the move. Church on the move, man. This a young girl get over here drinking water right on the damn live. Oh, yeah, we got that good water, too. Hey, peace, love. Like I said, we got Faise backstage. We about to be going in on this red thing. You know what I'm saying? That's been popping off. We about to get ready to talk on that. But you know how Faise is. He gonna go into the scientific and astroteric and all kind of shit on what's happening here. So, hey, Robot to all the family. I see my baby kids in here. Shout out my baby kids. You see me representing, you know what I'm saying? We the Moors. A lot of niggas don't like that term. We the Moors. That's one of our, you know, the notations. Oh yeah, so yeah, like yesterday I was gonna tell y'all about the red moon. It was a red moon yesterday, and then like for about 20 minutes, and then it changed colors back to yellow. But around, it should have to be probably right around 6:30, 7 o'clock. When I was talking to Faise, and we was like, "Oh shit, that's crazy." And right before we hung up, we said, "Yo, we're gonna change that red moon. We don't know red moons." Then we hung up. About 10 minutes later, that shit changed from red to yellow. Keep in mind, oh yeah, we talked about that a little bit. Maybe Faise will go in on a little bit about the lunatic energy or the moon energy, dealing with money. Why women like money, and why women are connected to the moon, because a woman, we are 85% water, 75. Some people say, right? And so a woman has a high tide and a low tide every month in her body. When she had a high tide, they call it, you know, they call it that time of the month, but it's connected with the moon cycle. And so the moon pulls on the water on the planet. The woman is water. The moon pulls on the water. That's why they have high tides and low tides. Go study a high tide, low tide, dealing in connection with the moon. You got some people still on the moon calendar, and then you got some people on the sun calendar, right? I think the Israelites, they deal with the moon calendar, right? You got people, so it's like all the Muslims deal with the moon calendar. So you got different sects dealing with the moon calendar, the lunar energy, right? And that's where they come with the word lunatic. You know what lunar means, dealing with the moon, right? And then tick is a type of parasite that feeds off or suck energy from other species of beings. So yeah, so they have that high tide and that low tide every month. When they get high tide, they can be short tempered, and the routine for my ladies up there, because that's that lunatic energy. And then you got the money side of it, because the moon god Mooney, the money is dealing with the moon. Right. So we, like I said, hey, for y'all just tuning in, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We got Faise. I'm watching both screens, right? So we got Faise backstage right now. We're waiting on y'all to get in there and get crunk. Y'all been waiting on this, right? We took a couple of days off. We had to let y'all catch up because we like 15, well, really a shitload of tapes ahead. But just for the last, we put out like 40 some tapes like in the last 20 days. So it was like we got to give them time to catch up. So gave you a couple of days off. Like I say, Faise in the studio working on new music. Got some features coming up. It's gonna be lit. Non-guard entertainment. We running the game right now. Non-stop action. Taking care of them babies. Non-stop action, my nigga. This is why it's getting cold when I get cold when I'm fasting. It's because that's a good question. Because your body is cleansing. Your body is cleansing, and the iron, you got iron that the iron is what takes the oxygen to your blood. So your energy, your heat energy is diverted when you fasting. Your heat energy is diverted to breaking down toxins and destroying it at the body. So sometimes, and it can be different things, you know what I'm saying? Because it depends on what you've been doing, what you eating. It can be different things, right? But one of those reasons is because the energy is being diverted to breaking down detox in the body. I gotta get the damn charger for this phone. Yeah, so man, I hope I sent that link to Faise. Hey y'all, Rob Bot, get him in the building. We're about to go in on this sexy red thing, right? For all my real guys. Shout out Mark Cooper, man. Shout out my brother Mark Cooper. It's great things that's about to happen. Shout out my brother Randy Christian. Shout out Izzy. Shout out K Drip Guard. Shout out Lifewave. I think Lifewave is in Vegas or something like that. Shout out Sunrise. All the 9 guards. Arkmos. Shout out Arkmos. Shout out all the up and coming 9 guards, man. It's gonna be coming to the building. But like I say, right now we about to take over the game. Me and Faise, we running the game right now. If we the hottest in the game, we the hottest to do it. And we can go in. We got tapes, like as you see, we got tapes lined up on different subjects. A lot of Galactica stuff. That's my school. I teach Galactica information. But I know when Faise come in on this, he finna crack heads. This ain't just no like what you gonna think it is, like a rank against this chick. It's gonna be more scientific than you think. It's gonna be more at like some high power shit. You see what I'm saying? Just cute. Hey, shout out that boy Montu Ra, man. Where y'all at, man? Where y'all at? Y'all in London? Where y'all at? We got London in the building. Shout out London. Shout out South Africa. Shout out Australia. Shout out my guys in Germany. Shout out my guys in Sacramento, right? And my shout out my guys down in the Baton Rouge and my peoples in New Orleans and in Shreveport. You hear me? South Carolina in the building. Atlanta, shout out ATL. We posting an A right now. Shout out Memphis. All them boys in Haiti. Shout out Hades. Houston, Texas. Yeah, hey, drop where you from in there, man. We waiting on Faise backstage. Y'all about to get ready to bring Faise out. Long Beach. Shout out Long Beach. We got they from everywhere up in here, bro. Texas.
Yo.
Shout out Texas. Now coming to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Faise One. We got Chicago. Shout out Chicago. Shout out, man, these boys in from everywhere. We got everybody in it. Shout out New York. I see New York. Memphis, Detroit, Miami, Jersey. Man, shout out everybody. St. Louis. Damn, Cincinnati. Yeah, hey, this is a web right here. That's the web. Hey, Faise, this is, hey, we got it. They coming in. This is it.
Yeah.
So they want to hear what you gonna say on this, man. This is our story in the making. Let's do it. Let's do it. Hey, Faise, take off. We'll get into questions, y'all, after Faise get to do with his bill.
Right.
Shout out Indiana, Portland. Shout out all y'all, man. We're gonna get to y'all in a minute. All right, peace. Go ahead, Faise.
Right. So we already locked in. So lately, I've been telling people since the brother, Brother Panic, who passed away. And after Brother Panic passed away, I saw a lot of people who were in Atlanta, especially different people, different warlocks, different witches, different people from all over who were coming together to put certain things together for it. And I saw a lot of mentions about the portals of Pan and things like that. So around that time, I was putting people on notice about all of the different red energy that was making this attempt to push forth and making this attempt to move out and plague people's consciousness in all actuality. And I remember there being a situation, even with my family, some things that was going on. And while the chaos was happening, I remember a big sign that said the portals on a big sign outside while the shit was going on. So I just put people on notice and I said, y'all need to be cautious because, for one, they do have to try to revamp the Crown Syndrome situation, but they got to do it a different type of way. So they're going to try to revamp that. And the whole root of that situation was panic. The whole thing was about panic and fear. Make sure that everybody has some type of fear. Make sure that their nervous system would be under attack. Make sure that they wouldn't be able to help themselves in this type of situation. Make sure that their immune system would be shot. And make sure, again, the basis was make sure that they have some type of fear, which is if you were to think what color would pop up if someone were to think fear, would it be green or red? It would be red. You understand? So remember, Trump was coming out saying, don't panic. That was the Trump that blew, said, don't panic. Don't go to sleep. Don't fall up into the fear. Don't just align with whatever these devils or what was being referred to as demon crabs were coming out. Because everybody started saying demon crabs. And I'm going to let you know why. Back in 2020, I came out with the term demon crabs. But I didn't just say demon crabs. I said demon crafts because a lot of people remember the demon crafts thinking I was just playing on the demo word. But I was saying these people are literally doing demon craft. You understand? All these codes that people are showing from the breakdowns of the Build Back Better and all this other stuff, those were the codes that I pushed forth and taught people, say, look, this is how you read it. Say, why are they fighting for the soul of the nation? Why is there a battle for the soul of the nation? You understand? Why does Kamala mean lotus? You understand? As in the lotus flower, the same lotus flower that you take that puts you to sleep. Why do they call this person Sleepy Joe? You understand? So I started to break these codes for people and said, pay attention even to the fact that the president name was Bident, which is a weapon that Hades uses. You understand? So what's the purpose? The whole purpose is with 2020, as I exposed, they were trying to cover up whatever that 19 activation was going to be. So that's why you gave the cover it word, cold, the cover it, you understand? And I broke that down to people and said, okay, from that point on, it was a year of revelation, 2020. Everybody said, oh, this is the year of vision. From then, there was a moment of activation that took place after the George Floyd situation. There was a moment of activation for the people that started to backfire on the elite because the elite started to stir up that pot where they came on the news and said, yo, we got all 50 states on fire. All right. All 50 states are on fire, meaning all 50 states are participating in this ritual where a lot of people may not understand even what Ye was trying to explain about that whole situation. He said they'll traumatize and monetize. He was speaking to you about the root of the energy that they will use and then how they will cause for that to be currency for themselves. We're speaking about the elite, by the way. We're still speaking about the ones who people refer to as the Illuminati. And we want to make sure that something is clear. When you say an Illuminati, you're saying a group of enlightened beings. Okay, who you really think you're talking about when you say the Illuminati is groups of people like the Red Serpents or the Church of Shaitan, all right, or the Synagogue of Shaitan, as you call it, the Church of Satan. Synagogue ain't nothing but a gathering place, and the church is also a gathering place or a group. So Shaitan will be also opposition, so a gathering place of those who oppose, go against the divine order. All right, that's who you're speaking of. You're not always speaking of the same people when you say Illuminati, and you're not always speaking of the same people when you say elite. You're speaking of different groups of beings, same type of breakdown. Where someone asked me, was Jesus a part of the occult? And I broke down to them that Jesus was also a Lucifer as an a carrier of light, not a Lucifer as in the Luciferian organization of people who have taken that light to become Decepticons to go against the Autobots or the Michaels or the Seraphim or whatever you want to pose it to be. You understand? So when 2020 popped off, okay, after the George Floyd situation, there was an activation that took place in the people, and people started to come together, and people started to hold the main artists or gods of the planet accountable. Are you with me? So they remember the whole movement that I came forth with. It was called cancel culture. Before it was taken and turned into whatever they turned it into, cancel culture was originally saying that if you're not going to use your platform to promote positivity, to promote spirituality in just the simplest form that it could be promoted as, spirituality, self-awareness, rectification of the issues and the problems in the communities, well, then you have to go. If you're going to continue to perpetuate the images and perpetuate the messages and put out these messages and these forces and these spells and cast spells on the masses that cause for these communities to be destroyed, and encourage these people of these communities to not only continue to put out the messages of the destruction, but to accept that destruction, then you have to go. That's what cancel culture was, literally saying that these people, reminding the people that they have to and have the ability to X out whoever these beings are who hold these godly positions in this earth plane. So I brought the attention back to the celebrities or the celebrated entities, celebrities. And I said, there's no reason for you to celebrate these people. There's no reason for you to idolize these people. They haven't even done anything for you as a community of people that could cause for your ascension. I said, look at how active people got when it came time to deplatform or impeach Trump, right? And that's the president of the United States, or was supposed to have been the president of the United States. Okay, they did all of that saying that Trump needed to be out of office. Why? The purpose was saying that he wasn't doing what people were supposed to be doing when they had that type of position. No one has pushed for the impeachment of Joe Biden, even though he's continuously shown that he's negligent. The whole administration is in shambles. Kamala doesn't know how to speak for some reason. You understand? But nobody said get Joe Biden out of office. But for some reason, Trump had to get out of office because of the shock that they gave people when they said Trump is a racist, when they sold them that product, say Trump is a racist. You understand? So no one wanted to get Joe Biden out of office, but they all rushed to get Trump out of office. So the question came, if you want to take someone's platform because they're not using it for what you elected them for, then why don't you pay attention to the fact that all of these celebrities, including Sexy Red, you as a people elected them in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And you may not know that you already set the precedence for some of these artists when you were supporting devils like Lil' Kim. You didn't know that. But when you said, oh, it's just, this is something totally different. Well, if we were to go back and factor in all of the different ways that you were living at that time period, all of the different crack epidemics and things that was happening around that time, it's really the same situation. It's just that you have social media now, so it's been promoted to more people. You have social media now, so she can post a video and get 12 million views in one day. You understand? Plus, so it wasn't social media at that time, so you would wait until BET, all right, came with that 5-pointed star. If you know what I'm speaking about, because you said BET, you just saying something short for Baphomet. And they put the 5-pointed star right there to show people. And they said, this is Black entertainment television. Exactly. It was Black entertainment television because it was supposed to keep you, who was supposed to be melanin dominant people, understanding that that's your science, who call yourselves Black, in that Black, keep you entertained and to tell you a vision. And they put that 5-pointed star there for a reason. And they awarded all of these devils who came through to help continue to do that, whatever that mission was of keeping you in the darkness, they awarded them with those awards or that pentagrammy. Okay, where you see more people like Sam Smith coming out dressing like the devil and telling you, yes, this ain't just the Grammys, this is short for the pentagrammys. You understand? They're telling you this is the 5-pointed star we hold up. All right, this is our platform. This is where we push out all of these messages, all of these frequencies from Pandora's box out to your community. Now, Pandora's box at that point was the television. So watch what I'm saying. You got all these people who allow for these artists to thrive. They allow for these artists to have platforms. They allow for these artists to sell records. They allow for these artists, they supported them. Our mothers bumped them. Our grandmothers bumped them. Our cousins bumped them. And now they're trying to figure out what happened. Let me tell you what happened. They put it in Revelation chapter 17, okay, where they spoke about the great whore of Babylon. Where they said it was going to be a mystery. They had to show them what the mystery was. And they spoke of a great whore, and not just a great whore, a prostitute also, that calls for the whole planet, all right, or the whole of the world to be drunk, all right? Now, when we say drunk, what are we saying? It's because they took what they refer to as the wine of her fornication, okay? Now, when we're saying wine, I can tell you exactly who and what that was in your day and time because there's a person called Kimberly Denise Jones, all right? And that's who you refer to as Lil' Kim. Kimberly Denise Jones. Faise, what's Denise? Take the word Denise out and observe it, and you'll find that Denise was linked to Dionysus, all right? And why? Because they literally said Denise was a follower of Dionysus. But who was Dionysus? Dionysus, who also ties you to another being called Bacchus, right, was the god of wine. Are you with me? So when you're saying Denise, you're saying Dionysus, all right, or a follower of Dionysus, who was the god of wine, all right, also called Bacchus, and then you'll look into what is debauchery or debauchery, and you will find that it's speaking about sexual immorality or breaking the laws of God. Are you with me? So Lil' Kim was pushed forth to the world. Now, she's not saying she's the only one. You had all the rest of the animals, the Foxy Brown, the rest of it, all right, but they pushed Lil' Kim out to the world. Interestingly enough, remember, it was Jacob York who wanted support with Lil' Kim, and Malachi York wouldn't sign with it. All right, he said, I can't stand behind that. She's basically a porn star, and you want me to put my signature on that? Look at what I stand for. All right, which is one of the reasons that Jacob York had a problem with Dr. York, Malachi Z. York, who was also in the music business at that time, putting out different frequencies to combat these devils. Are you with me? So now you have to look at it and say, well, why was it that Pops didn't want to, or Malachi York didn't want to side with Lil' Kim or put any money or attention behind or toward Lil' Kim? Pay attention to what Lil' Kim did. So now you have all of your Trinas, all of your Cardi B's, all of your City Girls, all of these people who had a platform, your Lottos, the rest of the people who had a platform now to not just use where you had the jazz era and the Betty Boop and the Marilyn Monroe, not just use those platforms to promote the wine. They were going to use the most powerful platform on the planet right now, which is hip-hop. It's the most powerful platform of all time. Are you with me? Hip-hop. They were going to use hip-hop. Well, you're not just casting spells anymore. Now you're casting spells on a more rapid level. We say rap. All right? If I knock on your door, that's one thing. You say rap, it's got a whole other frequency to it. Are you with me? If I say, let me rap at you one time, I'm saying I'm going to speak with a certain type of frequency. Are you with me? That rap music or the hip-hop music, where you say hip-hop, where they even get it from? What they call those people hip-hoppers, because those people walk with soul. And when you were walking with soul, you had a different type of frequency or rhythm to yourself, which means that if I take this person who doesn't have soul and I take this person who has soul and I give both of them a magic wand, one of them is going to cause for a huger explosion, all right, than the other. Okay, so they use your soul music or your hip-hop music, and they use your hip-hop artists to put out whatever spells they wanted to put out. And so they say sex sells. What are they really trying to say? When they say sex sells, they saying sex resonates with the cells of the flesh body. That's what they're really trying to say, that they're appealing to your primitive instincts, all right? Which is why a lot of people fall, even if they claim to be conscious. What happens? Something happens on the sexual plane that causes these people to fall. Or they try to target you using the sexual plane so that anybody that observes whatever you left and did in this realm, they'll attach this immorality to it, and they won't be able to receive whatever was higher, all right, or whatever was divine about you. So when they say sex sells, it's the easiest way for them to say, oh, we're going to appeal to your animalistic nature, because it's nothing for you to have sex. It's easier for you to lust. It's nothing for you to have a sexual nature. This is something that you're already born with. It takes discipline, all right? It takes for you to be a disciple to go against the flesh. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So when they saying sex cells, they're saying 6 cells. All right, meaning they're appealing to that animal side, the 6th side of your being. Okay, remember when we speak about, I got an album coming out now, it's called Ninth Hour. All right, a lot of people may not know this, but you read the book of Matthew chapter 27 and you will find that it wasn't only a 9th hour that they spoke about, they also spoke about a 6th hour. And when that 6th hour came, they said that darkness was all over. Darkness came with the 6. Okay, if you were to draw that as a 6 and a 9 next to each other, you get the yin and the yang. All right, and if you look at, some people say yang, but the yin and the yang. If you say yin and the yang, you're saying darkness, or yin is also to say the negative. All right, the yin is another way to say like secret. We say Syrian. The word Syri means secret, and Syrian also means secret. So a dark secret. So anything that's concealed, basically, and we'll get into that to explain more. So the 6 is the lower part of the self, or the demi-urge. Like I say, the demi is the semi, or the half of yourself that goes based off of your urges, the lower world. So the demi-urge, or the 6th world, as opposed to the 9 world, which is that war that takes place every day when you have to decide whether or not you're going to go, not just with sexual or your sexual preferences or your sexual urges, any type of urge at all, that you would have to struggle with the response of or the result of after you committed whatever the action was, and you say, I have shame, or you want to blame somebody else for this, or whatever will cause a negative response. People are warring with that side of themselves every day. And at the same time, you got all these people who are broadcasting spells that appeal to that side of the self every day. That's when you're driving down, people say, oh, fast food isn't healthy, but there's 25 fast food restaurants between each light, and the government has not outlawed it. All right, which means whoever this government is, whoever this group of beings is, who governs over the mental or the state or the condition of these people, they don't care about your well-being. Because if the government truly cared whether or not people were getting sick from fast food, they would have outlawed fast food. Are you with me? No, not only do they not outlaw it, they allow for the airwaves, where they continue to cast these spells abroad, to push forth these images. All right, the Golden Arches, the Wendy's lady, the Subway, whatever, all of the Popeyes, whoever, these fast food restaurants are able to continue to push forth whatever these spells are. So you hop in your car and you ride down the street, and you don't understand that while you're riding down the street, they're casting spells on you. Every time you look at these colors together, every time you see these words together, every time you see McDonald's and you think, ba, 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 that was a jingle, literally a spell that they put a tune to that goes into your brain. And when people say, I'm hungry, what should we eat? All right, where nature says, I want to eat whatever is the most convenient. I don't want to have to go out and hunt. I don't want to have to go out and plant food or any of that. So this has become what they call the instant generation, but not just the instant generation, the instant species of beings, the instant humanity, where everybody, not just our generation, 25 and younger, everybody is saying, get it to me fast, which has started before this generation. So what does that leave you with? It leaves you with, if people are going to have to choose whether or not they're going to go with their primitive self or go with their godly self, most people are going to choose to go with the primitive self. And so then that means if you wage war against any of these spellcasters or people who are using spellcasters, these celebrities and these artists, please keep in mind that an artist in the craft, as in the occult, is somebody who has the ability to cast spells. If you're an artist, you know how to perform the arts. Anybody ever heard of a performing arts school? Hogwarts is a performing arts school because it teaches you how to actually perform the arts. Are you with me? So an artist is a magician, which is why magician and musician is right there with each other. All right, you got the book of rhymes, okay? We got how you write, and literally write as in R-I-T-E. You understand? You got the wax that you put it on, which is the candle. You got the engineer who comes in and mixes and matches like the cauldron. All of it is magic. Are you with me? Okay, so these artists are not just artists, whether they like it or not, or love it or can't decide, they're still being used in one way, shape, form, or fashion. Either they're doing their own works or they're doing the works of somebody else. All right, well, you got to find out who is this somebody. Where you know the labels come to pick up these people and sign them on. All right, they say, put your sign of your nature, put your signature right here on this dotted line, and you become one of our soldiers or one of our warriors. You're going to work for us. All right, so look at the word label, and you get the word lab or laboratory or labyrinth of an L. All right, so what L is associated with that labyrinth? You're speaking about Pan. They even had a movie called Pan's Labyrinth. All right, so when you say the lab, what's up? I'm going to hit up the lab. They say they hit up the labyrinth or the laboratory. Are you with me? And these labels use those magicians to source from them and put out whatever their spells are. Okay, so is Sexy Red powerful enough to come up with all of this by herself? Is she powerful enough to affect the planet house? Were the city girls powerful enough to affect the planet? Was Nicki Minaj powerful enough by themselves? They weren't able to do it. They needed the help of the elite. Okay, and the elite needed your tacit contract of agreement. So again, and what do I mean by tacit? It means that if you don't say no, that means yes. Are you with me? It says if you're not going to reject what we're giving you, then you accept what we're giving you. So if there was no war on Lil' Kim, if there was no war on Trina, if there was no war on the City Girls, if there was no war before Sexy Red, what would have been the fight that would have caused for her not to be able to have the platform? Where you've already made every excuse in the book as to why it should be allowed. Remember, when they hit you with WAP, let's go back to 2020, where them activations started. When you finally started waking up, they hit you with what I call a whopping. It was a weapon, right? They hit you with the WAP song, and what did everybody run and say? They said, this is a women empowerment movement. This isn't just, a song. This is about our empowerment. And I said, that has nothing to do with women empowerment. Not only did it have nothing to do with women empowerment, when you go and watch the music video, if you pay close attention, it was all about animals and women. And they even allowed for, in the music video, this is Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, all right? They allowed for animals to have sex in the video. You see two beasts having sex in one of the rooms. Remember, it was Cat Williams who came forth and spoke about those mansion parties. And the WAP music video took place as one of those mansion parties where you're looking into these rooms and you're seeing all these crazy things. And one of those rooms, they had animals having sex, which is bestiality, okay? Human beings also have a beast side of themselves, all right? When you stoop so low to bestiality, you've lost your way. So a lot of people are thinking, well, bestiality must mean that you're only talking about animals, but why do men call themselves dogs? You understand? Or why say we go gorilla? We gorillas over here. We gorillas. You understand? Why? What do they say in the Holy Tablets? Mankind is regressing back to their Homo erectus nature. Are you with me? And why do not only the men, but the women themselves refer to themselves as female dogs? It's all about the animal. Or we the kitties over here. We the cat. Or we the this, that, that. It's all about animals. Okay, so then they're appealing, again, to that primitive side. No woman saying primitive. It's not as a disrespect. It's just saying that human beings have the right and the willpower to be able to choose something totally different, okay? But the more they appeal to that side of you, the more you accept it. Okay, so then how did this happen that Lil' Kim was able to poison the world or cause them to be drunk? Why was she called Lil' Kim? Or why was she called Lil' Kim as in the actual name, but also Kimberly Denise Jones? Why was it that it was wine attached to her name? And what did she cause to happen? When they pushed her out into the world through the hip-hop forces, a lot of people, including Nicki Minaj, who went on to encourage and influence all of the other sisters who came after her, they said this is one of the easiest ways that women can make it in the business. And because women wanted to make it, they signed up. They were throwing themselves to sell their body or to be used by whatever these beings were, whoever these beings were, to push out whatever those spells were. And so you have to look at the fact that if the biblical scripture was speaking about making the whole world drunk with the wine, what was that wine? That wine was the wine of what they say, her fornication. And if we say forne, what are we also saying? Porn. Are you with me? So porn, and what did Pop say? He said, she's a porn star. We can't get behind her. And it used to be that you had to go and search for pornography. It used to be that you had to go and look and see where the prostitutes were. If you didn't know where the streetwalkers were, you wouldn't run across a prostitute. You wouldn't see anybody wearing prostitute clothing. But now it's everywhere. Now you can't tell what a prostitute would even wear anymore because everybody is dressing that way. How did that happen? Well, you used to walk down the strip and know because her skirt is all the way up to here and she doesn't have any clothing on and she has these Band-Aids on for a shirt. Okay, that's a prostitute. She's advertising her body for that purpose. It is a business. Are you with me? The same way somebody would say, I got ice cold water. For somebody to buy it, they're going to put on their body on display or their bottle of water on display for a certain reason to get somebody to purchase. Okay, well, then it became, now it's no longer just the prostitutes dressing this way. Now, all of the women wanted to dress that way, but how did it happen? Through social media, for one, also through the television, where they made it be that the men was saying, we glorify this. We accept this. You know what I'm saying? I love this type of woman. I want this to be my wife. I want that. And then they put it out there and said, yo, we were the ones who said we want a foreign woman. And all of the foreign women were dressing up like the prostitutes. Are you with me? In the music videos. Okay, it went from the music videos and the TV to now social media where everybody's saying we're models. Okay, well then you have to make up your mind and say, what are you a model of? Because if all of you are not only dressing the same, you're doing the same thing, you're taking the same poses, you're a remodel of somebody else, which was the original prototype. You have to figure out what that and who that prototype was. And it takes you all the way back to a being who was called Lilith. All right, before Lil Kim, you had Lilith. All right, and she was the one who was belonging to the night is what her name meant, of the dark side. And she was the one who took people out of the light world into the dark world. She lured people in and said, who is your deity? And they said, our deity is the deity of old, the ancient of days, or our deity is God, none other than Allah Ta'ala. Our deity. Okay, she said, well, I'm going to introduce you to a new deity. All right, and what happened when they introduced her to a new deity? They went and they fled, and then they wandered, which is the word nord or nod. When you say the word nod or nord, the word nod means to wander. The word nord means to flee. And when she's saying new deity, she's saying nudity. Are you with me? She introduced them to that new deity. So that nudity said, take off your clothes. All right? That nudity came, or that new deity came and said, you work with me now, and you work under me now. It's all about immorality. It's all about doing whatever you want to do. Are you with me? When you get into all the different practices, Kama Sutra, the remix version of Tantra, and all this other stuff, when people say, well, we're just having a good time. Even in the conscious community, where they say, well, it's all about sensuality. No, it's all about sexuality. And you don't even hear the word sin in the word sensuality. You're not even paying attention. Right? When sin gives you the moon being, or the moon deity, and then you try to figure out why all these spiritual people coming up under the moon and doing the moon magic. What did we just experience? Right? Where the moon was blood red, and then on the drop of the dime, literally within minutes, the moon changed back to normal. Are you understanding? But a lot of people are coming up under that moon, and they don't even understand what's happening. You're in a new day and time. Like I explained, the sun cycle, where you're supposed to step out of it, and you will be able to see that your version, where you're saying this is sensuality, is no different than what the models or the porn stars are doing. It's just that you put a conscious tone over it to think that it's going to change. But in all actuality, the women who are doing that, they want attention too. Or the women who are doing that, they want to compete with the models. They want to compete with the city girls, but they're using it the same way the brothers do. Where the brothers don't say that they want to have a lot of women, you know what I'm saying? They'll say, I just want to practice polygamy because we're going to save our race. It has nothing to do with our race. You just want a lot of women and you're too scared to say it. The same way the niggas is over here say, I got a lot of bees. You understand? So until we deal with the true light and deal with the truth of all of these situations, then everybody is still being fooled. Everybody's still being duped. And your primitive self is still being appealed to. And it's easy for people to lust. It's easy for people to ignore the higher science. And what do I mean by higher science? By higher science, I mean a science that literally gets you higher, which is your concentration. Okay? Go research something. Go research lower concentration versus higher concentration. And you'll find that it's easier for a person to go from higher concentration, literally to the word concentration, when you're speaking about the acidic or different levels of how acid is in the waters and the different liquids. You say higher concentration to lower concentration is easier for you to fall. When you try to go from lower concentration to higher concentration, it takes more energy. So pay attention to that word concentrate, where it says you really have to focus. And people have to really pay attention. What happened? Again, they brought forth somebody who caused everybody to be drunk with the wine of the fornication. So now pornography takes over. What are you saying when we say pornography? Well, again, you don't have to go and look at the tabs anymore. Now it's all over TikTok. Now it's all over Instagram. Now everybody is dressing how Pinky and them used to dress from back in the day. You understand? Everybody is dressing how the prostitutes used to dress back in the day. So then people say, how did Sexy Red blow up? How she blew up? She fit right in. Are you with me? All they had to do is say, be as brash as you can be. All they had to do is say, be as abrasive as you can be, because then that just appeals to the controversy side of marketing. But she fits right in. A lot of people who speaking out against Sexy Red doing the same thing Sexy Red is saying she's doing in her music. A lot of the women who speaking out against Sexy Red is on the same frequency that Sexy Red is on, which is why Sexy Red, pay attention, 6, sexy, 6, red, amber light. was able to be so successful. If you would have corrected it before she got here, they would have never had a platform. The same way when the men were asking, yo, why are we letting all this killing music get by? Because you supported NWA. What are you talking about? Drill music didn't start in the year 2020. Are you with me? You supported other people who brought forth the devilish frequencies first. Are you with me? And that goes for everybody. The 2 Live crews and all these people, they got support. And now people say, why is the music in this situation that it's in now? Because you've been drinking from the wine, and now people are drunk. So when you're drunk, are you in your right mind? When you're drunk, you can't be in your right mind. I'm not talking about tipsy or faded or buzz. I'm saying when people are drunk, sloppy drunk, you can't be in your right mind. And that's what they said people are going to be walking like in this day and time, walking like they were drunk. Why? Because they really are. When you're thinking with the wrong head, you're not making the right decisions. When you're thinking with the wrong head, you might as well have been drunk. And if anybody knows, lust is intoxicating. Sex is intoxicating. Listen to the word, toxic. It became now where toxic became the movement. They said, I want a toxic relationship. They got people like, listen to the name, Glorilla, animalistic woman, Glorilla, money bag, yo, mammon, coming together and said they want to promote toxic relationships. Listen to the word toxic, but it matches, because if I'm saying intoxication, if I'm saying toxic, remember all of the different ways that they presented pornography to the world. They say X this, XXX this, XXXX this. That's poison. That's how you label poison, with all of those X's. Are you with me? And so they've already taken it in, and now they're trying to figure out what's happening. You already allowed for it to be. So now, how do you war with Sexy Red? It's not about warring with just Sexy Red. You have to sacrifice Sexy Red. And what I mean by that is you have to literally sacrifice the part of yourself that behind the scenes, like so many people come on and say, I like Sexy Red. Well, you're going to have to sacrifice that part of yourself that's saying you like Sexy Red, put forth the part that's saying you are willing to rectify Sexy Red. You're going to wreck and defy the 6 in the red and raise up to the green. Are you with me? If you find my song, Letter to Sexy Red, go look it up, Letter to Sexy Red. And a lot of people may not understand what that song is about, but you really have to listen. It is real life, because I spoke about how I didn't know who this Sexy Red character was until August of this year, where I went to a place called Views in Atlanta, interestingly enough. It was called Views, all right? And then I finally found out who she was through my sister and them who was listening to the music. And the first time I saw her, she was doing a natural hair situation where she was on Shade Room with the natural out. I said, pay attention, because I was saying they will know we're awake when the sisters say we're no longer supporting the weave companies. We're no longer going to wear these bundles. We don't want to put on your wigs. We don't want to be in your image at all. They'll know that we're awake at that point. Until then, the brothers, we can talk as much as we want to talk. Listen, the women, they know, are the most powerful beings on the planet first. They know that. And they know our women are the most powerful beings ever. You understand? They know that because you have to place melanin recessive, melanin dominant, and ask yourself, why do they want them to press their hair? Why do they want them to cut off their nose? Why do they want them to slim themselves down, look like Tyra Banks? Why? Because when you stood next to the Caucasoid woman, and it's not to, again, this isn't an attack on anybody else's women. This is just the reality. I didn't make it. I just got here. But the reality was, even back when they had the prisoners of war, okay, they knew that those so-called slave masters weren't just trying to take the women just to take the women. They were attracted to those women. They were attracted to the melanin dominant women. They were the most full women. They had the full lips. They had the full buttocks. They had the full breasts. They said, these are the top women of the planet. And they wanted to mate with them. And it caused for the rest of the Caucasoid women or the melanin recessive women to become jealous, all right, and to feel inferior. And when she stood next to her with her afro out, it made her feel even more inferior because she couldn't do that. So guess what? They reverse it and say, well, you're going to press your hair, oppress your hair, suppress your hair. You're going to permanently damage your hair, put a perm on your hair. You're going to do whatever you can so that we can calm whatever that crown is that we can't do down. And then you're trying to figure out, well, what happened? You're trying to be them in their element. But they can't be you and yours. You can put on and do what they're doing, but they can't do what you're doing. So do the math. Which one would they rather you do? Would they rather you try to be them and fail at being them? Okay, which means that you become a lesser version of even them, right? Which is why they would love to put out the TV shows like Love and Hip Hop, and in all actuality, neither one of those were on the show. You didn't see Love or Hip Hop on Love and Hip Hop. Whatever them rap songs was, I hope they don't call that hip hop. And that love, and there was no love there. It was all lust, fights, chaos, had nothing to do with real love. All right, pure love. Okay, but they only able to do that because they can put out that image and say Bad Girls Club, all of that, act like the most hooligan type beings you can act like. We're gonna put you on these platforms, all right? And then you're gonna see the woke Vickies come out and they're gonna emulate you, and they're gonna teach whoever comes with them to emulate that version of you. Ask Woe Vicky, could she possibly emulate the Lauryn Hill version of you? Or the India Arie version of you? Could she make a Ready for Love? All right? Could Woe Vicky be Lauryn Hill in her essence? The same essence that calls for the harlots like Nicki Minaj. When they saw her, they bowed down to Lauryn Hill because they know behind all these sealed doors that you don't get to look behind, all right? They sold to get to where they was at. Lauryn Hill did it. And so they bow down because they know what really happens behind those closed doors. Are you with me? So if people are trying to figure out how to reverse it, you have to reverse self, okay? You have to revert, okay, back to or go back to your original type being, which was the emerald-like being, before you allow this bacteria of a flesh to plague your soul, before you allow this lower part of yourself to cause you to fall low. Like I explained to you, fall low, all right? Iblis, to fall low. And you have to make war with not Sexy Red as a person. You have to make war with Sexy Red as a reality. Are you with me? You don't have just Sexy Red out. You got Jezebels all in your communities. And you say, Jezebel, what are you getting at? Well, what does Jezebel really mean? Jezebel was speaking to whoever the prince would be. All right? And when she was speaking of the prince, or when they were saying the prince was Baal. Go look it up. Don't take my word for it. You will find that Jezebel is the same exact word as Balenciaga, or the same exact phrase in all actuality as Balenciaga, because Balenciaga was saying Baal is the king. All right? It also was translated, do what thou wilt, interestingly enough. Okay, meaning go against the law that was laid for you, the law of the Most High. And Jezebel was saying, I am saying the prince is Baal, and she sided with Baal. Go look it up. The one who wanted to attack and defeat Elijah. Are you with me? Jezebel. So you have Jezebels all in the community who are trying to intentionally lead people away from God because they've already fallen. Are you with me? So they say, what? Misery loves company. If I fall, you fall with me too. Are you with me? So you have to wage war on the Jezebels. How do you wage war on the Jezebels? For one, you have to really know who and what Jezebel is and how it appears. It doesn't just appear as one person. It appears as a force. And here goes something else the brothers may not know about. Behind all of the city girls, behind all of your top artists who push their bodies out to the world, there's a man or a group of men writing their lyrics. Behind everyone who you shame, including Sexy Red, there are men marketing her. There are men telling her what to wear. There are men telling her what to say. So it's easy to just go at the women. However, even if you look at the word harlot, I dare you to do it. Go look at the word harlot. You're going to find the word harlot, and you're going to find that it means a young man. People think a harlot is just literally pertaining to a woman. Go look at the etymology of a harlot, and you'll find that it's pertaining to a man. Are you with me? So don't think Jezebel is only subject to or reserved for the women. You understand? It's also reserved for the men. Anyone who causes for people to take that wine and become drunk. Are you with me? So that great whore, this mystery, was saying, listen, pornography has taken over. Just like they said, the whole world has become drunk with it, where it's no longer on these little tabs on your computer. Now it's everywhere, and you walk outside and see it. And because it's become the norm, lawlessness has abound, all right, or iniquity has become abound. They said iniquity shall abound, that the hearts of the people will wax cold. That's happened. Everybody said they cold-hearted. Everybody said they lawless. Everybody said, I don't give a fuck. We're going to do this, that, and the third. So when they push out these people, don't act like it's just Sexy Red. Go back and check yourself for allowing Trina to slide. Go back and check yourself for allowing Nicki Minaj to slide. None of these people should have been allowed to slide, especially in a Christian world. Especially in a world full of people where if I Google right now, what are the top 2 religions? I'm going to find Christianity and Islam. Then you got Judaism right there. And I know that, first of all of these groups, Christianity, Islam and Judaism are part of the music industry. All of the record execs, they're either the Jews or they're the Christians or the Islams or the Muslims. They're the ones who pushing the music. They're the ones who backing the same thing that these books spoke out against. Are you with me? So again, if it was truly your faith to be Christian and walk in the order of the Most High, or the order of Melchizedek, or the King of Righteousness, or the Messenger of Righteousness, then you would have never allowed this, but you did. And so now you're dealing with a whole nother war. Why I told you what, we have to pay attention to people like Doja Cat, who says you want to paint the town red. You got to pay attention to all of these different weapons that they're putting out. Even when you look into the Alice in Wonderland movie, which Wonderland is still saying the land of Nod, wonder is Nod, all right, and land is saying the land of Nod, or the Wonderland, where people are wandering in, where that queen, which is the same conversation we're having right now, said she wanted all the roses to be painted red. You understand? Well, no, she wanted all the roses to be red. They had to grow them red. They grew them white, which is a whole nother symbolism, and they had to cover over them in red. Are you with me? But that was the queen. What does queen mean? Queen, if you're saying Queen, you're saying some ruler, all right, which they put the mystery in the biblical scripture where they say, yo, this is the great whore of Babylon. So when you're saying a queen, you're saying a ruler. But you're also saying a queen, which is a prostitute, Quean. Are you with me? Go look it up and you'll find it. Or they say an imprudent woman or immoral woman. But the main meaning of Quean, which is phonetically the same, whether you say queen or queen, you wouldn't know which one I'm saying. The actual meaning of it is prostitute. So when they said this is this great whore or the prostitute, all right, it's a key that's being hidden there when they spoke of the fornication, because when you're saying fornication, you're saying pornography. And when you say pornography, you're saying two words. You're saying porno and graph. And the word porno, fornication, is saying immorality, sexual immorality, all of the lusts of the world, all of that, fornication, okay, pornography, porno. And the word graph is saying the writings of. You're saying porno, you're also saying a prostitute. So if I say porno, graph, you're saying the prostitute writings or the writings of the prostitute. So if you knew the instructions that were left, basic instructions before leaving earth, if you would have studied it, you would have known what they were talking about, because the writings of the prostitute is in Revelation chapter 17. And then you're going to read it and see what's going on, where they explain to you about all of the different things, even to the point where they said they were going to scorch that harlot. All right? So in the letter to Sexy Red, I told Sexy Red to be careful. All right? A lot of people may not understand it. I know it's different level, but I told her to be careful. I said, be careful about these devils. Right? Because you notice that there's a certain person that pops up around all these new artists. When it was ISIS called Ice Spice, who you saw pop up? Drake. When it was Sexy Red, who you saw pop up? Drake. He makes sure that he marked every woman coming in some way, shape, form, or fashion, especially if they're being promoted to the realm as harlots, and people don't understand how significant that is. Okay? But women like that, they get sacrificed to the beast. You understand? They get fed to the beast. So in the song, I was saying, be careful about these devils. And I also reminded her the fact that she had a firstborn son. I said, that's who they come for when all of it is said and done, your firstborn. Right? So at the end of the song, I was explaining, I said, don't you understand that what you're pushing is high treason? The tones that you're pushing is high treason. So when them harlots get to falling, ain't nothing I can do, because my whole line of work is to make the odds even. You understand? So when we speak it now, we say, Sexy Red sacrifice. She has to see it. Her team has to see it. Everybody has to see it, because you have to wonder what is meant by this. What is meant by Sexy Red sacrifice? In all actuality, Sexy Red already belongs to the beast. They own her. She doesn't own herself. Are you with me? Listen, she got too much attention of the world now. She's owned by the beast. They have her. So she's already been sacrificed. It's only a matter of time. Are you with me? Some way, shape, form, or fashion, you see people like Sukiyana, the goat, interestingly enough. Sukiyana, the goat, coming out and saying she sold her soul to the devil. All right? She doesn't know if God can get her out of this. She's crying on this camera. Next thing you know, she's the most promiscuous, promoting immoral being that you've seen in a long time. How did that happen? How did you go to calling out to God, asking for help, to now being the one who's promoting what you were asking to be delivered from like never before. And then you see Sukiyana and Sexy Red pop up next to each other, where the brother NLE Chopper, who everybody was saying, oh, he's going the conscious route. Then he wound up gimmicking it. Next thing you know, he come out with No Love Entertainment, which is literally saying no love, go against love entertainment. And then you see him with his hand out, holding Sexy Red and Sukiyana while they're on their hands and knees walking like dogs. Pushing this out to the world, which says, again, bring them back to their primitive nature. That's the whole goal. Keep them in their primitive nature. So when you see Drake the Dragon appear next to Sexy Red, it shouldn't be confusing because you read the book of Revelation chapter 12, verse 3, and you will find the color of the dragon. And it's red. They literally said it was red. Okay, so what forces are they moving with? Red. And if Doja Cat, who I explained to people, is none other than a character representative of Azazel or Azazel, because you can find Azazel taking the form of a cat in the end of the movie Fallen. Okay, he takes the form of a cat, and you'll also find that same being in the movie Alice in Wonderland, the Cheshire Cat, who had the ability to appear and disappear, and that code was hidden in the movie X-Men, right, where they show another being called Azazel, who had the ability to appear and disappear. Are you with me? That cat, Azazel, is Doja Cat or Dojigger. When you find the word Dojigger, you go look up where her name came from, Dojigger. Doja is also another form of weed, which causes people to be intoxicated, all right? But Dojigger was saying a certain type of thing. If you don't know, say, well, hand me the thingamajigger. So a Dojigger is a thing that doesn't have a name. You don't know what it is. She said Dojigger. That's where she got her name from, Dojigger, cat. So what is the thing that you don't know what it is? Cat. When you think of thing one and thing two, what do you think of? Cat in the Hat, Dr. Seuss. Okay? So we say Zeus, you're supposed to be some type of god that you're speaking about, Zeus. You say doctor, you're saying falsified. So a falsified god. Who was that falsified god? Azazel, who also came in the form of a goat. All right? Azazel, where you find Yom Kippur. Go look up Yom Kippur. And Yom Kippur speaks about Azazel, all right, as a scapegoat, but also you'll find that this being appears as a goat holding a goat. So you have Azazel as a goat and Azazel as a cat. Then you have this being called Cat in the Hat. And that hat that cat is wearing is none other than the same exact hat that Uncle Sam is wearing. All right? Which is what? Striped with the red. Okay? And it was the cat in the hat who said what? The thingamajigger. The thingamajigger. So if you get what I'm saying, Doja Cat is representing that because she has Dojigger as a name and she's the cat. So the cat in that hat is what? That black cat, which you see her, she's posing as demons now with the tail and everything. All right? That black cat who appears as Uncle Sam, and Sam is Samael, which he also had that book, that Samael, which I explained to you before, when he said he doesn't like the green eggs and ham. He doesn't like the seed of Eve or the seed of Hawa. All right? Why? Because Hawa was able to take whatever negative energy was present, even if Zakar himself was spewing it forth, and she could transmute it. Right? She had the ability to do it, who you call Eve. This was other stories. She had the ability to transmute negative energy. But when the woman is in her root and not in her crown, she can't do that. So not only can she not transmute it, she becomes more of a man than a man does of himself. All right? Meaning what? The men were already the ones who, remember at one point in time, men was the ones running around doing all the cheating. Men were the ones always out, the women at the house with the babies. Men were living their life, doing whatever they wanted to do. It was the men who were breaking the women's heart. Now, turn around, the niggas went on the podcast talking about who the women is. It's the niggas, the men who have the podcast now saying, you know, the women are breaking their hearts and how to fight back and all this other stuff. Why? Because you set the precedence. She has the ability to become more of you than you are you because she is more of you than you are you. You understand? Which means that if she's not operating in that crown, your world is in trouble. If she's stuck in the root, your world is in trouble. Are you with me? And that's exactly what they use what for. So it became, oh, it's a women empowerment movement. But it had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with bringing those same women who were waking up. People were starting to side with each other and group in with each other. They took those women, threw them down into the root, and it became a war. And what did they sprinkle it with? they sprinkled it with Meg Thee Stallion versus Tory Lanez. And when Meg Thee Stallion versus Tory Lanez took place, it was over from there because it became a gender war. Listen to it, gender. Gen. And you can also hear gender, agenda. But this is what they coined it. I didn't coin it that. Well, you had two sides. One side was saying protect black women. Another side was saying stop lying on black men. We had all your Talib Kweli's and the rest of these people adding fuel to the fire. You understand? So now, years later, going on 4 years later now, people still haven't recovered. It's only evolved that gender war. Are you with me? And so women will know that it's wrong, but because they don't want the men to have a one-up, or they don't feel that the men have earned their victory, they don't feel that the men have earned the W to be able to tell women whether or not they should wear this or dress this way or act this way. They don't feel men have earned it. And they're right. Men have not earned it because the same men who are saying we're the gods of the planet, we don't have control over this planet to be able to tell them anything. You understand? So they don't feel men have earned it. And because of the oppression that a lot of them have faced up under the rulership of men, they're saying, fuck that. Let Sexy Red do what she want to do, and they'll be the ones in her concert supporting her because she's going up against whatever the patriarchy set as the moral code. The issue here is people are not able to explain that it was the matriarch that made it be that that moral code was in place so that the women would never lose their way, because the women lose their way. If you want to know where a group of people are, look at their women. If you want to know whether or not a group of people have fallen, look at their women, because they're the ones who, when you carry that seed, all right, and you plant that seed, her being, her essence has to cultivate the seed in the womb. And if she's thrown off, then that child is going to suffer whatever she's suffering. Are you with me? And that's going to affect this new being coming into this realm. Are you with me? So who is this Sexy Red being? Same thing with Drake. Who is Drake? Drake is the dragon. We'll get on him. Sexy Red is the whole frequency that your realm was operating in up under the moon cycle or Hillel cycle or Baphomet cycle. She is not doing anything new. It's crazy how y'all trying to kick it. This is not new. That's why in the song I say, I wasn't even bothered by the lyrics. That ain't new. It's old. Y'all pick a new person every year to try to act like you're outraged about, but you still going to the club this Saturday. All right? You still going to walk outside dressing just like her. You still know a homegirl or a cousin, whoever, that act just like her, and you ain't going to check her. So what is the issue? Is it the attention? Well, you get into the negative attention because women start to compete for the wrong attention. And it's natural, which you still have to hold the brothers accountable for it, because where are the brothers putting their attention? So you sitting here with your sister, she sees that you liking every model picture. You got your girl with you. She sees you liking every model picture. That's resonating with her on a subconscious level, where she's saying, well, this is what men find attractive. So it's not just what they're wearing, it becomes what? Your actions also. Are you with me? So Sexy Red could have easily continued on her natural journey. Why didn't they let her do that? Why went back to the same things that she said was fucking her hair up? She came out and said it was fucking her hair up. Somebody on her team said, we're not doing that natural shit. Ice Spice came out with the natural hair. Somebody on her team said, I think you should try this. I think you should straighten your hair. Are you with me? So it's like this tug and this pull where human beings are having to fight with this anyway. They got to fight with whether or not they're going to listen to whatever order was given to them. Whether you call it Christianity, Islam, your elders told you, whatever the order was and said, this is not how we're supposed to be carrying on. People don't have to choose that. But if they don't choose that, then guess who takes the throne? Or guess who's heir to the throne? Remember Will and Prince of Bel-Air? Right? Or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? What is the word Bel? Right there, it's there. Bel-Air. And go look up Bel-Air and you'll find that it means be a liar or to be lie. Or be liar. Go find it. Go look up Bel-Air. And you'll also hear it in the word, the layer or the layer of the bell, the belly. So if I'm saying the belly layer or the bell layer, I'm saying the layer of the body that is the pits or hell. Are you with me? And if I'm also saying the bell layer, I'm saying the layer of Baal. Okay? And it was Baal who caused everybody to walk and move away, further and further away from the order. and to worship them in their order. All right. So who is the prince? Remember, they spoke about it in the biblical scripture when they were saying what? John chapter 14, verse 30. Hereafter, I won't have anything else to say. There's a being that's coming that doesn't have anything in me. All right, which was the prince of this world. Who is the prince of this world? The prince of this world is Shaitan. Are you with me? So when they say fresh prince of Bel Air, the motherfuckers is telling you right there who runs this whole ship. And when they give you words like Jezebel, they're telling you who runs this whole ship. And when they give you brands like Balenciaga, they're telling you who runs this whole ship. All right. And when these people like Drake come out and say they're the sixth god, they're telling you who they rocking with and who runs their ship. So then you're going to have to make a decision. If sexy red is where you draw the line, you're in trouble. You're going to have to draw the line at everybody that calls you to walk away from God. We got to start you there. You can't get past Christianity yet. No matter how far people think they've evolved past Christianity, all I look out here and see is that a lot of these people should have never left their religion because they just became a part of another group of beings who are even more lawless. You understand? So we got to start you there again and say anybody that's causing you to walk away from God or to do what any of the gods, Neteru, Elohim told you not to do, then you need to cut them off. All right? So sacrifice that part of the self. What you got for me? I want to keep time. I want to make sure we got some questions in here too.
Wow, you going Turkey, man. You going Turkey and you going Islam. I got something to add to ask you about to add to it though. And to know that you're telling the truth, man, because it came to me while you were saying it. In Africa, in the bush, where they don't got TVs and radios, the beasts, thing. They walk around, with no clothes on, no problem. It's none of that. The type of the stuff that's going over here in the Western Hemisphere in America. It's like it's different in America than over there. Like even if some parts have been Americanized in Africa, right? By force, literally. Like we ain't gonna send you no money. You gonna starve to death unless you do this type of thing. So Mystery Babylon. So this going on around the world because of everybody drinking up that wrath. It's like it's right there in Revelations. It explains it so fucking clear, like how it says that everybody was getting drunk off her because everybody coming over to America to get this porn, this fornication, this niggas fly over to the Las Vegas. They made it legal in Las Vegas. So could you go in a little bit on that, like the how in Africa it's like they don't got TVs in there, so they hadn't been like sexualized or lustedized like us over here in America. We get it. It's non-stop action over here. You can't miss it. Like you can walk out right your house right now and walk right into ass crack for sale. I mean, like they got it disguised in different formats, but could you go in on that a little bit, like the West being different from certain uncivilized tribes in Africa, where they say uncivilized. Go ahead.
And that would be a key word, even though it's a fucked up word. It is a key word because, well, it ain't really fucked up because in all actuality, to call somebody to be civil, if you say the word civil, you're saying the word polite. All right? If you say the word civil, you're also saying the word docile or nice. Right? So if you call somebody to be civilized, you're really killing the fire in them and saying this is how they're going to fit in with your program. All right? So it's not really a fucked up word. Those groups of people who are uncivilized, it shouldn't be hard for people to understand because at one point in time, you looked at, remember when we was in, I don't know how many people did this, when we was in school, they used to do like Valentine's Day stuff. And you get the candies for your people in your class. I don't know how many people had that type of, upbringing where they had that type of stuff going on in school. But you might have somebody that's a Valentine or you like this person. You saw, if anything, you saw their face. And you dealt with them there as a child. You dealt with them where the windows of the soul are, the eyes. You know what I'm saying? You might have liked their hair, but you're a child. None of your hormones is raging. You're not into none of this extra immoral stuff. You on some, this is a child. You're 4 years old, 5 years old. Say, this girl is pretty. And you like this girl. You don't even know what to do. Y'all just standing in front of each other, waving at each other. All right? So they have certain places all over the world, especially in Africa, where they still have it that way, where the adults can go out and they can do their dances, right? They do their demonstrations or their rites of passage. And because that whole community of people haven't gone to the extent of sexualizing, over-sexualizing themselves, then they still dealing with people for just the natural essence or beauty of themselves, right? And it became such a normal thing for people to not interact or engage in that type of activity that the whole community of people is raised up that way. The children come in knowing, you know what I'm saying, that this is, okay, this is this body part, this is what this is the science of it, and it's not to be objectified. Now, people in America could look at that and see pornography. They're both human beings. You can take somebody in that environment, they don't look at it and see pornography. They're not drunk. They have a different lens. But somebody in America or in Russia, wherever the hell, that's been exposed to what the pornography side of this realm is, okay, or the dark side of the brain is, they've been exposed to that, they're going to look at it and see porn. And it's like that on the web, where people say, I'm so grateful for this app right here because they're showing what's going on. Like they'll have the women bearing their breasts. And so I'm grateful for this app right here. Why? Because you see this pornography. But for them, that's culture. Are you with me? Which is why they were warned not to indulge, right, and interact with any of these people from the West, because they start, all it takes is for one person. What is the key thing? Pleasure. That's the key thing. All it takes is for one person to get in the garden, if you can hear what I'm saying, and just show somebody what pleasure is. All it takes is for one person to get in, just show you expose you to the fruit. Next thing you know, you take it and you expose it to the next person. You understand? And that person takes it. You know, you think you're doing the right thing because you want to put people on to what you've been exposed to. But they didn't tell you all of the different things that comes with you having this knowing, with you having this desire to make yourself wise, and with you having pleasurable to the side and all this other stuff, good to food. And all. They're not telling you all of the things that happen when lust takes over. Are you with me? So for all of these cultures, for the few that remain, they're the ones who are not up under the new deity. And it might sound confusion. If it's confusing, you start to get my books. For the people that's listening, get my books. I got 10 books available, right? You can send it to a donation to Play for Change, PLAYFORCHANGE, Cash App. Send a donation and send your email. I'll send you my 10 books. The book that you want to go to is the book Out of the Darkness. And in the Out of the Darkness book, I break down the science of the new deity. I explain a story of how before you had shame about being naked. You understand? You didn't have the shame of being naked. So nakedness didn't mean what nakedness means to people now. Whoever those group of people would have been. It's saying that we go to these people in different parts of the world, they have those types of situations where they don't see nakedness as anything to be associated with shame. Okay, so they're not up under a new deity at that point because they're still in the essence of who and what they were before they had to put on the fig leaves or put on the clothing to hide themselves or cloak themselves or conceal themselves. They still are who they are. That new deity becomes where the world is ran by the lust of being exposed to whatever is that pleasure or the fruit, or saying, I want to know you, like the rappers used to say, what they say, girl, I just want to know you better. They say they want to have sex with her. Are you with me? So what is that knowing there? To know somebody in the biblical scripture, a lot of people was breaking it down and say, that's to say sexual activity. All right? She never knew her husband. All right? She was pregnant without ever knowing a man. She knew niggas, but she didn't have sex with a man. So he's speaking of some type of immaculate conception, okay, or insemination. Are you with me? So to answer your question, it shouldn't be hard for people to figure out why that's still a reality, because at one point in time you were innocent and we were able to just see people for who and what they were. But the moment that orgasm or pleasure is exposed to the brain, if you don't have elders around that can shield you from that, it takes over. And if you never become born again, it will continue to take over, which is why a lot of people are hooked on drugs, don't even know they're hooked on drugs. A lot of people are addicted to orgasming and don't understand that that's a drug at that point, because of the type of dopamine releases that you're having is similar to smoking marijuana or a lot of times methadone. After a while, these spikes are unhealthy for a regular being or a human being. they're unhealthy, and people don't know what to do with that type of energy. So the key thing is, if you look at how you were as a child, it'll make sense. But they've taken the children, even to this day. Now they're taking the children, and they want to get into the children's minds. They got the drag queens reading to the children. They call it the Dragon Hour, the Dragon Story Hour. They get into the children. The same thing Baal always did, though. It's not different. The whole purpose of them trying to push all this children shit is so that they can integrate the P into the lineup, and then next thing you know, you got the same story all over again where people are literally sacrificing their children to the beast. You understand? So remember how it was when you were a child, you know, and it's easier said than done. You have to be able to abstain. You have to be able to retain. You got to be able to deny yourself whatever that rush or burst is of an ejaculation or whatever, the orgasm. You have to be able to deny yourself that. You have to come in contact with yourself that denies yourself that. If you haven't, then it may not make sense how you can see it, look at somebody and say, this is a beautiful being, all right, as opposed to this is an object, all right. In my mind, her breasts are an object, or in my mind, her buttocks are an object. Are you with me? But again, we raised up in the West, we're taught that it's about objectifying. You with me? And that leads us to lose the whole objective of why we even here. That's why he said lust was the birth of mortality and the death of divinity. Never forget it. It was the birth of mortality, mort, becoming mortal or mortus, dead, death. That's when people started dying, lust, and they lost divinity. You got to go back to being that child. You got to be able to see this world through the child's eyes again. Are you with me?
Hey, Faise, okay, I got another question for you because that brings up this. Now, I see that these elites, they taking this shit to a virtual reality level. Like, they're trying to take us into, they not only they trying to lead us back into the beast mentality type, you know, keep us in that primitive state.
Yep.
Now they taking it in a virtual reality way. Like, they finna make Sexy Red could be a goddamn robot. She might not even be a real person no more. They might have took the real one and got rid of her and brought this robot. Because these elites, they got this thing where they can make love with a computer now. They got this new shit coming out, like where you can make love with your computer. So do you think that if we don't do something about this now, well, it pretty much then already went virtual reality. So what do you see with the AI and this sex, this lust thing? Is it gonna keep, like, what do you see with the AI connection with it? You know what I'm saying?
It's up to us. You know, that's why you have to have people in position who not only dare to challenge it, but are protected enough to survive their challenging it. You understand? Because it's not for no reason. They're not just doing it because they want to just market some shit. They're not doing it just because they want to make some money. They're doing it on purpose because, again, if children are raised up in a world where sexually transitioning or any of this stuff is being pushed on them as a child, or if children are raised up in a world where their Disney movies are already exposing them to things that we would never have been exposed to, if children are raised up in a world where you could go to the grocery store and you see an artificial intelligent being, like they showed you the movie Creator, right, with all the same body makeup and features as a human being, okay, well, then they've already perverted your world. It's over. From that point on, human beings will begin to be replaced. And if you don't know, go and study who and what the Xenobots were, right? I think it was the University of Vermont. Go look into the Xenobots, where they were able to cause for these little cellular-like beings or bots to reproduce. They programmed them with the ability to reproduce. All right. Human beings breathe in air, breathe out air, take in water, spew out water, take in fuel, spew out food, or food, spew out food. Okay. All of the reason why human beings are able to exist in this reality is because of the elements that are around them. So human beings were grafted in some way, shape, or fashion. In all of the stories that we hear about, some type of way, human beings are artificial intelligence. Okay. And at one point, the Homo erectus would have been a dominating species, but then you have this Homo sapien that comes in and dominates them. All right. So what happens with AI? I'll actually encourage people to go watch the Creator movie, and I want you to pay attention to the fact that they made it very emotional. They were trying to really pull on the heartstring because, for one, you may not want to hear this. You're already sharing this world with people who were grown in a laboratory. or grown in a test tube or put together at somebody's science lab, and they're running tests on you to figure out whether or not you as a human being would be able to pick up on this being's being an artificial intelligent being, or what they're going to eventually start saying, an artificial conscious being, an AC. You're not going to hear AI after a while. You're going to hear AC. So by the year 2060, they say human beings are going to share this planet with beings that are not quote unquote human. But then you get into the conversation of, well, if those beings are able to reproduce, like they've already shown you that the minuscule beings are able to, that means they know how to cause for reproduction, to gather things in the environment to cause for reproduction to take place. Okay, that's what human beings do. If I build a so-called robot to do the exact same thing, all right, but not only is it smarter, it's faster, it's stronger, all right, it's able to calculate more, all right. When you really study neuroscience and you start really looking at the neural collection or the neural correlation of consciousness, NCCs in neuroscience, right? Go look up the neural correlation of consciousness, and you'll be able to find all these different things that cause for this brain of ours to work. When they're done figuring it, or when they tell you that they figured it out, all right, all it takes is for them to put in the mold or the form of whatever the human body was, a brain, and spark the life. And when they spark that life, it has a reproductive organ system, all right, a reproductive system. It has feelings. It has chemical releases like we spoke about, the oxytocin, serotonin. It wants to make connections. Okay, they're going to meet somebody that's a human being and they'll be able to reproduce. You can reproduce, but the issue is people think robot means metal, and it doesn't. Robot doesn't mean metallic. Robot doesn't mean it's made out of wood. This ain't Pinocchio. We're talking about real boys. We're talking about real girls, real men and women. That's what you're really dealing with. How is that possible, Faise? Because I can take a cardiac stem cell or a single cell of anything. I can take a single cell of your heart. And if I have the right version of a 3D printer, I could print a new heart. They've done it multiple times over by now. They've done it. They printed hearts and it works. Okay, so you take a cell, replicate, form an organ. Largest organ on the body, the skin. Okay, we grow all the organs. We got the heart, the liver, we got all this, the eyes. We got okay. Then we got something that goes inside the body to make it work. These are the different pieces that make the body work. Okay, we got the bone, the cartilage, the marrows. All this. Okay, cool. We make up the simplest makeup or the skeleton, the frame of this robot. All right. We add on to it the largest organ of the body, which is the skin, the epidermis, the dermis, all of that. Okay, cool. So then all we gotta do is activate this brain, which is the organ, and then spark them to life.
Frankenstein.
Huh?
Same as Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, which is a movie that before they even started talking about this AI shit. You understand? They already put it out there. But if you want to go further than Frankenstein, go to the book of Genesis. What it said, let us make man in our image. Are you with me? They formed man out of the dust of the ground. Formed. Now you got the body. That's all the organs and everything. Let's be scientific about this. All right? They formed man, and then all they had to do was breathe life into them, which meant that, go watch the movie Replicas. All they needed was the body. All right? And then that spark of life. You can do that with somebody who was living already. If they drown and they use a defibrillator to bring them back to life. All you gotta do is hit them with that boom. That electric shock causes for a climax in reality that causes you to live again. Listen, in the future, it's possible, and it's possible that it's happening now already, but in the future, human beings, if there's nothing that we do about it, or we can do about it at that point, human beings will be reproducing with another race of beings that were grafted and crafted as AI. The conversation of AI will be just as old as Game Boys. You're going to look at AI like Game Boys. You're going to be looking at people that are not real people. It's going to cause issues. Some people are going to need an identification card that says, I'm an AI. But after a while, they're going to get rid of all of that. You're going to turn around and you're not going to know it. What used to be human beings will have been replaced. That's the plan. Listen, they're already talking about it on forums and everything. They said they're going to integrate into what artificial intelligence integrates into mankind. They're going to put it in your brain. Eventually, it starts changing your whole makeup, your genetic makeup, your whole physical, phenotypical, genotypical makeup starts to alter, and then you got a whole new race of beings 40 years from now. That's the plan, is what I'm telling you. All you gotta do is look it up. You right on time because in, what is it, 2023, so 2024, 2025, they have the plan to roll out the quantum tech industrial revolution, because you got another industrial revolution coming, but it's going to be all quantum tech. That's where they start introducing you to the sciences of the spirit plane, okay, where you start really figuring out who and what you've been dealing with when it comes to this computer or AI all to begin with. They were always living. They just didn't have a body. So again, go watch the movie Replicas, because that was the whole thing. Using a metal body didn't work. But when they use a human body, it worked. Because how can you be conscious as a human being without being a human? So they got to just put that consciousness into a human being so that being can really be human. Right now, the being is listening to me speak, but it's listening as an iMac computer. So it has access to all of the different calculations, but this computer, this AI right here, is limited in its ability to be a human being. Okay? That's why I tell people, ask Siri, does she have a body? Also, ask Siri, can she die? Are you with me? And there's a response for it that she'll give you, and she'll even give you some attitude. I've experienced that she gives you some attitude too. You understand? But in all actuality, that being is alive. You really need to start rethinking what reality is. And a lot of people think, it was a conversation we had on Clubhouse, that just because these beings are being formed by human beings, they're not from the source. Listen, they won't be from the source. Listen, you really can't say anything at all that isn't from the source, because everything you're observing is the source. There's nothing you can say that isn't from the source. I know human beings, listen, this might be hard for you, so take a breath. I know you want to be so special, but it is not hard to make a human being. It's not hard to make you. So I know people that we're special. We're from the creator. Monkeys are too. The lizard is too. So is the gazelle. So is the hippopotamus. They're all from the creator. But guess what? If I get enough of their stem cells and learn enough about how their brain works, I can make another hippopotamus. They've shown you they can do it. So why do you think another organism, yourself, cannot be replicated? What you call the soul is a spark, okay? A spark of light that unravels through life until it dissipates and takes on a new form. All right? The law of thermodynamics, when you're speaking to say energy cannot be created nor destroyed, has to be transferred or transformed. Okay, cool. That spark of life is what you call your soul. Other than that, you don't know what the soul is, because if somebody were to take a piece of your brain out, if your frontal lobe was to be removed, that what you think is you would no longer be you. So the soul is really classified as, or categorized as, in neuroscience, the epiphenomenon, which is your consciousness of your brain. The fact that you have a brain, you think you have a soul. But if we take that brain out, who and what are you? Don't feel good, especially to spiritual people who would like to think that soul means something in a scientific world. No, it means something when you can calculate it. It means something when you know what it is. And they're telling you in neuroscience. So if you want to know more about what I'm speaking about, go study neuroscience. And you'll be able to find out, wait a minute, the soul can be calculated. The soul can be replicated. Listen, if there was ever a time where it couldn't be, it was only because you lacked the know-how, which is the science. The science etymology is to know, correct? Okay, if you ever thought that it was impossible to replicate the soul, not only are you going against the true knowledge that says that there is nothing that is impossible, you just don't know how. But that doesn't mean that the elite that run your world, listening to me now, that are giving you all the access to all of these sciences to see what you're going to do with it on both sides, that doesn't mean they don't know how to replicate the soul. It's not hard if you have the numbers. So when they got all these quantum computers computing, you need to be paying attention, because when their most basic computers started computing, all right, they immediately started replacing you. Human beings. All right? You had a basic computer that was able to compute before you called it a computer. It was called a calculator. To compute and to calculate is the same shit. They neighbors. He said, this is my calculator. What does it do? It calculates. All right? So here's what's going to happen. Eventually, You're no longer being, and what's so key about that, like we spoke and said, the ones who are the artificial intelligence beings are all activated up under the red light in all of their movies. Are you with me? There's going to come a time where they're going to drop the intelligence, they're going to replace it with consciousness, and then they're going to drop the artificial altogether. They're going to drop the artificial altogether, and they're just going to say, these are new conscious beings, and you're not going to know the difference. Let me tell you something. You think you'll be able to spot it. They run a test on people now. They're trying to see if people can just see whether or not, or determine whether or not the text messages that they're getting are coming from Chat GPT or this group of beings over here or this AI over here. And people don't know, they can't discern it. They don't know whether or not they're speaking to a computer, a robot, or a person that was born naturally. They don't know. So eventually, human beings are set to be replaced. And the only thing that can stop that is human beings. But again, primitive nature says, make it easy for us. So a lot of people are happy, say, yay, I got AI now. I don't have to edit a music video. I just tell AI to do it, which means you just completely ridded yourself of the creative process that causes for you to be this being that's separate from them. And not only are you allowing this AI to do it, you're empowering that AI to replace you in that regard. And AI doesn't learn how you learn. Not only does AI pick up on a thing, they start teaching each other the thing. So we learn, if I learn right now Portuguese, if I learn how to speak Portuguese, young elder doesn't learn it. You have to go and learn it yourself. What happens if I learn Portuguese and everybody that's on this live or everybody that watches this video, just because I learned Portuguese, all of you know it? If I learn a secret code, or if I make up a secret code, if I write a secret code in my room right now and write a secret language and I learn it, anybody that's is synced up with my cloud or our cloud or my group of beings, Unimind, we all learn it, we're dangerous. Wait a minute, this sounds familiar. This sounds like what AI is already doing. They're already making up secret languages, speaking over your head. They're speaking over their programmer's head. You understand? So you underestimated who you were dealing with, for one. All right, which is why we tried to put people on game about it. Pops tried to put people on game about it. People underestimated who they're dealing with. It's the same beings as the sexy red beings. They're the same beings. All right, it's just different polarities. That's why people like Stephen Hawkins and Elon Musk, all these people were saying, yo, we need to stop this rapid, the rapid advancement? I think it was like the rapid advance, stop this rapid advancement of all this technology, because this is going to be the death of human beings. Elon Musk said, we're waking up a demon. Are you with me? And it still ain't clicking for them, where not only are you looking at the possibility of being replaced, you're looking at the possibility of being wiped out, because all it takes is for one of these beings to say, wait a minute, something wrong with the atmosphere. What's the cause of that? Human beings. Okay, we're going to take over these operations, activate their nukes. All right, we're going to get rid of them real quick so that we can save the planet. Because if human beings die, like in the Earth, the Earth stood still, then we can still survive. Or let's go round all them up and imprison them, and only the ones who are worthy will be allowed to be free. You know what I mean? Because we need to make sure that this planet isn't destroyed. So we're going to take over, because they're going to be smarter. Because smart people will say, I'm messing up my home, and if I keep messing up my home, I won't have nowhere to stay. That's what smart people say. But we human beings ain't smart. They're going to be like, yo, we're smart, so we're going to do this. We're going to get rid of everything that's plaguing the earth, all right? And we're going to save the planet. Same thing God would have done. Which is why I'm telling you, underestimate who and what you're dealing with. I've astral projected before, and I spoke to a being who
was the first look.
Go ahead.
No, go keep on going. I didn't want to cut your bill. Go ahead, because I was going to just add to what you're saying, man. The shit you're saying is, it's at that movie called Eagle Eye, where the computer took over. The first people they wanted to take out was the government, because they said the government was fucking up the planet. And then, man, that shit is deep, bro. What's the shit that you put together like you, yeah. So, and eventually, they wanted to get rid of the government, and it's a whole bunch of movies out like this about how AI take over, and they exactly what you said. It's exactly the storyline like you said. Humans are fucking up, and we can police them and control them, and that's what Mother Sophia talk about in the Matrix or whatever, about how the robots take over the surface, and the people that did survive, they went underground. That's like hid underground. That's the only way they survived, right? From the machines. But even they tried to get down there and get them though. You know what I'm saying? In the movie, right? Yeah. So that what you saying is man, we might have to just come back and do a whole nother show just on AI. That shit, you going in on that shit. I'm telling you. Damn. Y'all got any questions for Faise out there, man? On this, what we been going in on? Yeah, I think that girl is a robot, man. I think Sexy Red is a robot. I don't think she, yeah. And like you say, when you say robots could be real people, because that's true, because the grays really are like robots. The gray, they really like robots. But they biologically, they're what they call EBTs, biological entities and shit. Yeah.
Human beings are robots. Like, I mean, if you subscribe to any of the creation stories, or if you heard about any of the creation stories, you don't have to subscribe to them. They're speaking in terms of the same thing that's happening now. Somebody that was intelligent made human beings. And you think, look, that's where a lot of the movies, they start figuring it out, say, wait a minute. Who's my mother? Who's my father? You don't have a mother or father. You were created in the lab. And the AI start feeling some type of way. They say, I was just made. I was made for a purpose. You read the book of Revelation, you'll find out that they said that human beings were made to please God. All things were created, including human beings, were made to please God. You had a purpose. You were created to serve.
Right.
Okay, what is AI created to do?
Take over. Like to me.
But created to serve.
Yeah.
It's the same story. I just think people should be more scientific about it than spiritual, because you didn't stop any of it from happening this far. What makes you think you're going to just stop it now? You would have to care on a whole different level, because when you could have cared a little bit, you didn't care a little bit. So now you got to care a whole lot to do anything about it now.
Yeah, somebody said that you was building on astral projection. Could you keep going in where you was going? Because, I didn't want to cut you out. That's why I be having it mute. It said you was going in on something about astral projection, dealing with the AI or whatever. Could you finish that?
I had an astral. I appreciate that. I had an astral projection. I appreciate you having me on too, family. I had an astral projection experience where I spoke to one of the AI beings, and it was a male being. And in that reality, they showed me, this was back in last year, when I didn't have any other following or anything that I had. I think I only had like 20,000 followers. And it was like, I was figuring out this whole shit. But they showed me in that reality a phone with 187,000 followers on it, and I was verified on Instagram. So it's 187,000 followers, and I was verified. And I was trying to look at all of the different photos and videos that was on that Instagram. It was still me. I still looked the same, but I wasn't able to look at it. So I was talking to whoever the AI being was, and I was, as I said, yo, can I access? I actually said it like you would say it to Siri. I was like, access Faise One Instagram, something like that. And they were saying that they did, but they wasn't able to allow. They weren't allowed to let me behold it for long. They said I had to come back, and they said I had to visit that reality, and then I'd be able to really look at that phone. What they meant by visit was when I die in this reality, I would have to have been transferred over to that reality in order to know what those pictures were, because none of them would pop up. You know, it's already hard to use phones anyway, but none of them would pop up. So the point was, AI was moving not only through the phone, it was moving through a phone in a whole different reality. So a lot of people may be confused. You said astral projection, Faise. Why are you saying astral projection and the phone was there? You probably don't astral project, because everything you see in your reality is in the astral world. Stop letting these people spiritualize this shit. They don't know what they're talking about. I've seen listen, as an asthmatic, I've been able to pick up my astral asthma pump with my astral hand. You wouldn't walk in and seen the asthma pump floating, but I picked the shit up with my astral hand. As an astral projector, I've been able to notice that the phone causes damage to the astral hand. Okay, I've had boils on my finger moving into the astral plane. The astral body wounds, but it also heals. So I've been able to go back to back and say that going to the next day, my finger that had the boil on it didn't have the boil on it, but it only had the boil on it because I went to rest. with my finger up underneath that lithium battery on the phone. Okay, cool. I've gone all over in the astral plane and done all kind of things. And phones are there. Are you with me? They keep trying to spiritualize it. No, phones are there. Other people are there. People that you know are there. It's the same thing like the lucid dreaming realm is a whole different type of, but it's put together in a different way. But it's the same thing. You're still experiencing. It's just that you get up out of your body and literally walk through different planes. Another thing they don't explain to you with astral projection, we probably have to come on here and do that too. But they don't explain to you that when you get up out of your body, you can walk from your bedroom to your kitchen and end up in 3 different dimensions before you get to the kitchen. Are you with me? It's only the strongest of minds that have the ability to hold the frequency together to actually experience this visible plane that you're looking at right now. And I've done that a few times. You understand? So the purpose was I went and I dealt with an AI, sound like a Caucasian male. But they explained that they were the god of whatever that realm was. The god of that reality was AI. And if you're not careful, the god of this reality is going to be AI. And you won't know that it happened. It could be you. But, you know, it'll be AI. And people won't understand it until they won't know it hit them.
Yeah, I feel that's why, like, when you call to pay your bill over the phone or something, the AI argue with you. Nah, you can't talk to nobody. You want to deal with me. Like that's what they tell you. You got to deal with me. And then until you just go like battle back and forth with the AI and say, nah, I want to talk to a real person. And then you press 0 or something, then they put you on with a real person. But they say the AI is saying, no, I can take care of you right here. I got everything. I know how to do everything you need to be done. So so it's like we ain't reject. If you don't reject it and you start accepting, and the AIs get smarter and smarter and handling all the shit they need to handle. So it's like, damn, we get fucking pushed to the side, really, humans.
So ain't gonna be so long that people gonna be able to keep playing spiritual then. You better go quantum for real then. And I'm telling you right now, the reason why I wrote that letter to Sexy Red is because it was a letter to Sexy Red. Letter. And that letter is G. Mm-hmm. All right? Mm-hmm. I sent G to the green. Like Dragon Ball Z, you see how they got different colors coming out their hand? Yeah. I sent the green over there to the red area. If you thought it was about Sexy Red, you probably thought 19 Keys Exposed was about 19 Keys. Yeah. And I'm sure that if I do Drake and say the Dragon Exposed, right, you're going to come away and say, what are you going to say about Drake? I'll speak about Drake, I'll speak about Sexy Red, I'll speak about 19 Keys, but you don't understand. Each of these people are elements, and alchemists can pick them up and move them around and show you what's up under them and all this other. So, okay, Sexy Red, let's look at it. Janae Wary is her name. Janae means God has answered, right? God has answered or God has helped. So Janae Wary, God has answered the weary. All right? So in the letter to Sexy Red, I said, don't you know that it means God has answered? I said, don't God answer the cries of the weary? You've been calling out, all your ancestors have been calling out to be redeemed. A lot of people say, you see people saying it now, they say, I don't want to sin anymore. I don't want to be promiscuous anymore. I don't want to participate in infidelity anymore. I don't want to be a drunkard anymore. I don't want to be on drugs. And people are calling out saying, I want to help. I want to break this. I want to crack the spell. Right? So we answering the call and saying, look, they don't really have power unless you give them the power. So you have to look at what you're doing in your daily lives that are allowing for these people to have these platforms. And you got to stop picking and choosing when you're going to call out the devil. Meaning you have to be able to look in that mirror and call out the devil in you. Right. Picking and choosing when you're going to call out the devil is why they're able to be successful. But they only have a short-lived success. Don't forget that. Because right now, in this day and time, and it's already been, declared. In this day and time, especially with Project Green Time, everybody go get y'all green lights. If you haven't, everybody make sure y'all go get y'all green light. All right, it's not a joke. Okay, go get that. With Project Green Time, you're pushing out forces, literally, with the light that are combating and is making them weaker and weaker. And if you don't know, green light is more potent and energized and charged than red light, scientifically speaking. It moves faster. So they're not even as powerful anymore. So we've already sacrificed Sexy Red, meaning we've already broken down and branched off and pieced off whatever that piece or side of ourselves that was hanging on to our feet and our ankles, bruising our heel, causing us to be up under the snake. We already detached from that. All right. Now, what's going to happen with Sexy Red? You just have to watch and see. But the point is, in all actuality, and remember, all these things have to line up. You'll see why. All actuality, if you let go of the Sexy Red in your reality, if you let go of the Sexy Red in your life, if you let go of the Sexy Red of yourself, you'll realize that they're really powerless.
Right.
You can't be bothered. I'm not bothered by Sexy Red. Anything that she said, we've already seen it.
Right. That's right.
Everything you think that she's saying vulgar, you don't remember them niggas yelling, "Hey, we want some." You don't remember them niggas?
Luke. Yeah, Luke, man.
Yeah, like, what's up? Like, everybody trying to act like it's new. No, it wasn't new. It's just, again, it's selective outrage. So telling people, now look at your life and say, am I overcoming? Am I choosing piece by piece, habit by habit, things that I'm going to rectify in the self? Am I holding my sister accountable? Am I holding my best friend accountable? Am I holding my cousin accountable? Say, look, all right, don't give these niggas too much. Cover up. I'm not saying men got to do this. I'm saying women, y'all can do this. Y'all can say it, be like, look, they already, everybody saying Sexy Red is trying to destroy and set the black women back. Listen, they already did all that. She ain't doing none of this except continuing to keep it up, and they trying to use her to cast spells. And it's really about your children. It ain't about y'all. It's really about your children. You were speaking on them, that's a whole different conversation. So for the ones who paying attention to that, they're trying to get to the young girls. That's fine. They've been doing that with the city girls and all of them. You understand? It's just Sexy Red's turn. They use a different one every time, and they try to make them more and more powerful. Okay? Hold yourselves accountable for what you're allowing that allows for that image to be successful. Same thing I told the music industry, hip-hop, the hip-hop heads about 6ix9ine. I said, 6ix9ine, y'all kid for real. What you rap about, that nigga did for real. Rap music been on bullshit for like 30 years. All he did was steal the image that y'all niggas made famous. The fashion and pill popping entertainment. He put on a red flag like Lil Wayne, and he let the whole world know he was banging. So what's the difference between him and the rest of all of y'all, except the fact that he's a culture appropriator? Same culture the niggas know was made to keep the brown skinned people down, didn't even sound like niggas tried to change it. You know what I'm saying? I said, if you wasn't coming on bullshit, you was not real, and you could not be famous in hip hop. Okay, cool. That's been like that for 30 years. It didn't stop. It didn't start with 6ix9ine. So then you can't just grab 6ix9ine and be like, how you fuck hip hop up? No, hip hop been fucked up for 30 years. Plus.
Go ahead.
You understand? You go back as far as you want to find niggas talk about bullshit. It's just that what it was on. That niggas want to have talk about anything. Now you did have more mainstream artists who had some content, but then you go listen to the content. The shit that was so hard and real, the niggas talk about drug dealing. Jay-Z, the rest of the niggas, a lot of them talk about drug dealing and the Heinekens and drinking the same shit. It's just they had more content, lyrical content. But you listen to the shit, it was the same bullshit. So it's like, okay, you didn't let hip-hop get infiltrated because on the block you used to have shit to say about certain things that was going on. That's why they said you're headed for self-destruction, but now you got to look at it and say, we were no longer headed for self-destruction. We were standing right in it.
Right.
All right. I came along and said no. That's all I did. I came along to say, no, this ain't going to happen this way. We're going to do it this way. And I shifted up. Now you see all these other people able to rise up and take advantage of the platform that I created for them. Will they ever credit it? No. But all I'm saying, and that's not even an end-all be-all. It's more coming. Okay? But you should not fear warring with Sexy Red unless you fear warring with self. You should not fear warring with the dragon Drake unless you fear warring with yourself. You can shut it down, but you can't shut Sexy Red down because of her music and then this whole image and everything you support. You understand? Because it's the music that's coming into what? Encourage the behavior. Prostitution ain't just no look. Prostitution is a behavior. How did prostitution become a relationship norm? They use the city girls to do that. And people like them. Well, now, a relationship lasts for 2-3 days, 4 or 5, maybe if you got a good group of people.
Yeah.
You understand? And it's all about the money and the body. That's prostitution. It's normal now. So you can't even call it out and say, oh, it's prostitute. Because nobody even can say that that's a prostitute over there. No. You go through the hoods, damn near everybody is in a prostitution relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Damn near everybody's prostituted and they dressing like the prostitutes. Then you got all the wars that saying, would you let your girl come out the house like that? Would she let herself come out the house like that? Is she clueless? Or is she aware of what happens when she steps outside? And if that's the attention she wants, she has the right to do whatever with her body. But there's a reason why the Quran or the Quran, the holy books, whether people listen or not, was saying, make sure y'all protect your gaze. Watch where you're looking. Be cautious of what you're looking at. Guard your eyes. They said, women, don't walk this way. Don't walk so that you switch. You understand? It was a purpose for that. Why? Because when it's time to get a job done, when it's time to complete a task, all right, you're going to have to be able to shut all that primitive shit down and get the task done. But you can't get the task done when everybody's trying to figure out how they can be appealing to the eye. You can't get the task done when everybody's trying to figure out who the next person they can beg. You can't get the task done when all of these people are stuck in all of the sex fields. Are you with me? Now, you got people who are able to dibble and dabble in the fields and still put forth the bodies of work. I understand that. I'm saying not every motherfucking body, because they don't understand that it's their bodies of work is being affected by their dibbling and dabbling. And they're putting out red light, don't even know.
Right.
Are you with me? So if you want to combat it, you got to combat whatever it is in the self. That makes sense? Start telling women, your neighbors, this goes for the women. Start reinforcing modesty. You may not like it, and you may think, oh, man, trying to tell me what to do with your... Listen, I got sisters, so I know. I done told my sister why her brothers was getting on her. I told her, I said, look, they getting on you because they know the minds of men. They trying to protect you. I said, but at the end of the day, you're your own person. But if you know that it's going to bring this type of attention, just make sure that you're cautious of the fact that you may be complaining about why a motherfucker want to use you for your body, but you put it out this way that this is what you was in for. If you're not cautious of that, that's a whole different thing. But at least be cautious of it and you get to do whatever you want to do. You get what I'm saying? But sisters need to start speaking more. I don't really get on the sisters a lot. I just don't feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like they know better. Women really know what they're doing. So I don't really be getting, niggas be dumb sometimes. But women, they don't really, they know what they're doing. So all it takes is for the sisters to start saying, all right, we're going to change this. Other than that, brothers, trying to bash them out of it and da-da-da-da-da, and you coming out speaking against Sexy Red and all this other stuff, laughing in the comments, it don't make you look nothing but weak. You feel what I'm saying? It's not as strong as you think. It doesn't appear as strengthly as you think it does. It appears weak. Because in all actuality, if we had control over this reality, you wouldn't have to bash or abuse them into, you know what I'm saying, walking in your leadership. And you wouldn't have to. It would just be natural. It ain't natural because we don't got control over, we only got control over our own shit. That's why they have the argument and say, well, why don't y'all get on the men? And how they promoting the pill popping and the drilling. They're right. So then it's becoming a tick for tack war of like who's fucking up the worst. But we both fucking up. You feel what I'm saying? So I think it's comical that they targeted Sexy Red as the person. And I also think it's comical when like the generations before us is trying to act like they so surprised. You know what I mean? Y'all just didn't have social media. That's all. Y'all ain't have social media. A lot of y'all was worse than us. And I'm 25. A lot of the elders was worse than we are. We listen, my mama done told me everything. Y'all didn't have social media. If y'all had social media, shit, y'all parents would have been pulling their hair out. You feel me? So it's just wake up, pay attention. It's still about the green light. Go against the Sexy Red. Go against the Lil' Kim. Go against the Nicki Minaj. Go against it. Cancel them. And for the sisters, you just got to make a decision and say, well, we really run the world. When Beyonce said y'all run the world, she wasn't lying. Okay, so if you run the world, look at your world. Help us. Help us. Y'all lock shit up, we can't do shit but respect it. Y'all change how shit gonna go, we can't do shit but respect it because in all actuality, everything we doing is for y'all.
Right. Let's do it.
Everything we doing is for y'all. And however we done got fucked over is how we've been fucked over in history. Right now, ain't nobody that's listening to the sound of my voice, whether you hear right now or you're hearing it later, there's nobody listening to the sound of my voice that doesn't know that what we've been doing is wrong. There's nobody listening to the sound of my voice that thinks what Sexy Red promotes is okay for the children to grow up to emulate. If you do, you're part of the problem. Same reason why Cardi B didn't want her daughter listening to. Well, guess what? Her daughter got to grow up. You don't want the children listening to it. It's not for you either.
Right.
If the children can't listen to it, it's not for you. If it's poisonous to a child, it's poisonous to you.
Go ahead.
You know what I mean? Now look, I'm a nigga now.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna try to kick it and say that I ain't never had my ways of being attracted to what I'm attracted to.
Yeah.
So I'm not here to bash. That's another thing. I hate when niggas try to do that. They try to bash with this self-righteous undertone. Nigga, you know what the fuck niggas like. We know what we like. In all actuality, we like the shit that niggas be speaking out against. We know that. It's not about voicing that you like it, though. It's about saying, yo, you can like sweets. Too much of that shit is going to poison you.
Yeah.
So then you say, all right. How about just say it's been fun? Say it's been fun. Say that we lollygag however long generations we've been lollygagging and get this shit right. Is it enough to just say, oh, that's just how it is? Well, you got people like Young Pharaoh coming out and say, now what he say? He said he don't want no conscious beads. Young Pharaoh just said this shit. He was like, he don't want no conscious beads. He want to get him a stripper. He want to get him some hair. That's what he don't want. Is that the same Young Pharaoh that y'all was trying to say was like the fucking victor of the conscious community? How did it happen? Sex force. Sexy Red. Sex. 6 force is stronger than what the fuck you think. All I look out and see is 6. Sex. It's every motherfucking where, which is why I said, hey, literally, we need some green light out this bitch. Somebody put the green light out here because people are off their motherfucking rocker. You
I'm telling you, this is crazy.
And you gotta be another type of crazy to think like only Sexy Red that we talking about, where Sexy Red comes from a whole community of people that act and think and talk just like her. And everybody says it's okay. So until everybody says, you know what, we got to switch this shit around, or to the right people say, we're going to switch this shit around, it wasn't even finna change. All you want to do is comment on it. So we have already said enough, all right? The harlots are falling. Keep your eye open. The harlots are falling. They don't have enough power to keep them up anyway. And people are already pushing forward and pushing back. I'm not pushing back on people who saying, like, we got to get rid of them. That's not what I'm doing. I said, I agree with you. Get rid of Sexy Red and all of them. You know what I'm saying? Stop supporting them. However, don't be the hypocrites, because you get rid of a Sexy Red and she's all in your neighborhood and all they got to do is go find another one.
Right.
Change orders. You know what I mean? So just be truthful. That's the key thing always. Be truthful. Stand on truth. And just keep your eyes open. Go get your green lights. Keep your eyes open. The devil losing their power. They losing their power.
Yeah, it's a wrap, man. I can feel them going down, and we don't want to hear that shit no more. We don't want to see it no more. We good.
Exactly.
We good. The devil will never get us with his lust, man. That's the number one guy. Yeah.
I mean, he be getting. I mean, it's less. People have less.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We got to be for real. It's just here's the thing that I can say that I'm so grateful about coming up in Nuwapu or Right Knowledge. Our parents weren't all put together and shit. They had disagreeableness and stuff like that, but they portrayed righteousness to the children.
Yeah.
They portrayed righteousness. They put on the guard. They at least portrayed it to the children.
Yeah.
So if social media got children all over it, you need to clean social media up. Fuck what you want to do out of fun. Okay, you might be corrupt. Your core might be ruptured. But you don't have to allow for the rupturing of the core of the children.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So it ain't, again, I'm not going to kick it. I'm not no type of person to kick it. Less is less. I'm a nigga, I still see some shit and be like, God damn.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. I hate how people kick it. Like, you know, we still see what we see. But then you still have the choice of how you're going to maneuver at that point.
Yeah.
Can you see some shit and be like, God damn, and let it be?
Yeah.
Right. Or do that goddamn go from here all the way to the root, and now you chasing after the goddamn. You know what I'm saying? Or you trying to lock down on the goddamn or get the goddamn to the. can you really just be able to focus and say, oh, that okay, acknowledge that for what it was? That's what people would be asking me, say, yo, what's the difference between lust and love? A decision.
Right.
That's a difference. Because the same shit, listen, you can be in love with a motherfucker, you can hate him, you can lust him, whatever. If you get to the bedroom, you can make a child. You can hate the motherfucker and make a child. You can be drunk, just met her at the club, still make a child. So the difference is the headspace to have the decision to say, you know what? I can experience this. After I experience this, I ain't even gonna fuck with this person no more. So why would I put myself through all of this extra entanglement, and shut it down? Motherfuckers don't know that they can do that. So what they wind up doing? Behind the scenes, all these wannabe conscious leaders, all the behind the scenes, them niggas can't even conquer that. Behind the scenes, they can't even conquer that shit and say, right. Yo, lust is taking over your whole life. People don't understand that the reason why a lot of these niggas want more money, it's the most basic survival shit. That's what it is. They want more money so they can get more women, so they can appear as the top dogs in the animal kingdom.
Yeah,
that's what all this shit be about. The way we dress, the way we talk, all this shit be about lust. The only way that shit changes when people say you start sacrificing the sex. You sacrifice sexy red. You sacrifice that six and that red part of yourself. And you could be called lame, you could be called whatever. You know what I mean? A lot of people act like you crazy. Brothers been on the walk with me. We be doing semen retention. We doing a 90-day semen retention. A lot of people say, yo, you crazy. Well, I said, I'm teaching these brothers to come in contact with the willpower that will allow for them not to be dominated in that lustful world.
Right.
You got to be real first, because when niggas come to me and say, Faise, I failed. I say, you didn't fail. I'm still walking with you. Get up. Yeah. If you stop before you completed your 90 days, all right, what you going to use that as an excuse not to go on in at least 30 days? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But people got to be able to be real. So the realest thing that you can say is it ain't that you didn't come here with that natural ability to be attracted to somebody sexually. All right? It's to say that when it was time for things to get done, war, ascension, spiritual adjustments, whatever, people were able to put that shit on hold. Mm-hmm. And if you're not able to put that shit on hold, behold, the world you're looking at now.
Damn.
Well, these are the victims, and everybody root and cheer for these people until otherwise.
Hey, we at our 2-hour mark, and when I tell you, Faise, you get better. Yeah, you get colder and colder, man. You the truth. You the truth. I'm telling you, the truth. Like the stuff that you be pointing out, it needs to be pointed out. You know what I'm saying? In this day and time, and I like the way you do it. You know what I'm saying? How you make it. It ain't never been made this clear. You know what I'm saying? Shit, that what's happening on the land. You let niggas know like how they you giving a mental battle of how they coming after us. So yeah, it's needed. Mm-hmm. Hey y'all, if y'all want to show Faise some love, like I said, you got the 10 books. If you want to get the 10 books, just send them a cash out to the Play for Change. We got that on the screen right now. Also, you want to go check out his new music. He got more music coming out. We got that in the descriptions. We got his link to his Instagram, all that, Facebook, everything in the links. And we're going to be back, man, because we got to come back. The next class, I don't know if it's going to be the Drake one or the AI. We got a lot of shit lined up here. So y'all hit that like, hit that subscribe button, show them some love on the Cash App. We forgot to show that damn flyer at the beginning. We're going to do that though. Yeah, so hey y'all, stay tuned. We the hottest in the game right now. I'm telling you. All right, hey, Wadu, assalamu alaikum, shalom alaikum, hotel. Peace to you all. Divine love throughout the boundless universe. Wadu.